Indonesia is a democratic country which has set the general elections as the main pillar in electing new leaders. General elections are held to provide direct and open opportunity for the public to elect figures who are capable of and eligible for holding certain political positions or as representative to communities at the national down to regional levels. Until 2019, Indonesia has held at least 12 general elections. Starting in 1955, the following elections was only held 16 years later in 1971 and then in 1977. After 1977, this democratic fiesta was held every 5 years, namely in 1982, 1987, 1992, and 1997. Reforms movement in 1998 has made the following elections that should be held in 2002 was forwarded to 1999. Since 1999 until today, the general elections have become an event of contestations and a party for the Indonesian people to determine their choice of leaders. There have been 4 general elections held since 1999, with Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono and Joko Widodo elected and serving as president for 2 periods respectively. Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono in 2004 to 2009 and in 2009 to 2014, while Joko Widodo in 2014 to 2019 and in 2019 to 2024. History has recorded that several changes were made in general elections from 1955 until 2019. The history of general elections in Indonesia started during the parliamentary democracy under the leadership of President Sukarno. The elections was held to elect representatives of the people who would sit in the House of Representatives or DPR. Meanwhile, the president and vice president were elected by the People's Consultative Assembly or MPR. The system was maintained until the end of the New Order era, and it was shortly continued in the Reform era in 1999. Significant changes were made in the 2004 general elections, when it was for the first time Indonesian citizens at home and abroad directly voted for the pair of presidential and vice presidential candidates. The 2004 direct presidential and vice presidential elections was a breakthrough in the state governance system. 20 years later, in 2024, Indonesia will again experience a breakthrough in the state governance system with simultaneous and direct general elections to elect presidents and vice president, members of the House of Representatives or DPR, Regional Representative Council or DPD, and provincial, regency, mayoralty, legislative councils or DPRDS, held for the first time. The next general elections will be held simultaneously on 14 February 2024 to elect the president, the vice president, DPR, DPD, and DPRD members. The 2024 general elections will see Indonesian people vote to elect the president and the vice president without the participation of incumbent president Joko Widodo, who according to the constitution cannot seek re-elections after serving as president for 2 terms. 3 pairs of presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate are ready to compete in the 2024 political contest. The first pair of presidential and vice presidential candidates, Anies Baswedan, Muhaimin Iskandar, is supported by the Nasdem Party, the Prosperous Justice Party or PKS, and the National Awakening Party or PKB. The second pair, Ganjar Pranowo Mahfud MD, is supported by the Indonesian Democratic Party of Struggle or PDIP, the United Development Party PPP, the Hanura Party, and the Perindo Party. The third pair, Prabowo Subianto Gibran Rakabuming Raka, is supported by the Gerindra Party, the Golkar Party, the National Mandate Party or PAN, the Democratic Party, the Crescent Star Party or PBB, the Gelora Party, the Primo Party, the Garuda Party, and the Indonesian Solidarity Party or PSI. The General Elections Commissions or KPU has set election stages since 14 June 2022 until the oath taking of the elected president and vice presidents on 20 October 2024. All preparations have been made not only by the General Elections Commission in Jakarta, but also by all Indonesian embassies and consulates abroad, including the Indonesian Consulate General in Hong Kong.
Yes, it's all started in this January this year, 2023, when the consul generals, not only in Hong Kong but also all of our missions abroad, receive notifications, also support letter from the Jakarta, especially from the Commission for the General Elections, to assist, to ask, request assistance from all of Indonesian missions, consulate, embassies to form an overseas General Elections Committee, especially particularly here in Hong Kong and Macau. So since then, the consulates, in cooperation with the Indonesian communities, Indonesian diaspora here, from all walks of life of communities, managed to form this committee. Consists of, if I'm not mistaken, around 7 persons, which the main task is to process and to also to prepare the conduct of the elections for the upcoming in the February 2024. So far the election has been working according to the stages set forth by the commissions in Jakarta. For example, the committee's success in the form of the permanent lists of our Indonesian voters that will be used by the commissions and the committee to invite and also to conduct the process of the elections. The consulate here also, in cooperation with the committee, of course, in supporting the data and also the verifications of the Indonesian voters, the registrations, and also all other materials or assistance needed by the committee.
The Indonesian Consulate General in Hong Kong has communicated with the Indonesian Embassy in Beijing, Hong Kong Election Commission (PPLN), and Hong Kong Election Monitoring Committee (Panwaslu) in disseminating the method and organizations of the 2024 general elections. Indonesia will hold simultaneous general elections for the first time next year, and Hong Kong is one of the foreign countries with the most populated Indonesian citizens. The Indonesian Consulate General in Hong Kong has held overseas elections in 2004, 2009, 2014, and 2019. In line with the decree of the General Elections Commissions, since the stages of the general elections were announced, the Indonesian Consulate General in Hong Kong, together with the Indonesian Embassy in Beijing in China, has established an Overseas Election Committee or PPLN and an Election Monitoring Committee, Panwaslu.
The Consulate General and also the Commission for General Election in Jakarta are at the beginning of the establishment of the Overseas Committee. We had a very close coordination at the time, so close communication as well, because we have to know the detail about how to establish the committees, the requirements of the Indonesian citizens eligible for that committees, I mean for the membership and everything. But as soon as the committee has been established, the coordination has been, let's say, is being the focus of the committee itself, to have direct coordination with the General Elections Commission in Jakarta. In this part, the Consul Generals assist in the forming of another body, which is, we call it the Secretariat of the Overseas Committee in Hong Kong and Macau. The Secretariat consists of 3 members, and all of the members are Indonesian, I mean the consulate staff, who assist, according to the, of course, according to the regulation of the Commission, has to be Indonesian Consul General staff. So who will provide administrative support and also managerial support, including the organizational of finance, to finance all the preparations leading to the conduct of the election in 2024. Because we are aware that the Consul General cannot be the main actor to organize and to conduct the election. It has to be the committee.
As you know, you can see here, I am the representative of the overseas of Indonesian election for Hong Kong and Macau. We have 7 members in Hong Kong, and then we have been working for about 6 months since we were inaugurated on February 3rd this year. Yeah? And then we try our level best to work hard to follow all the steps that from the Center of Community asked us to do. Basically, in the first 5 months from February, our job, our task is to, what we call that, to try to verification data. So we try to find out the real data that we have from the system, from the central committee, and then we try to check in the field whether this person is exists or not, and so on. So this is actually the first job that we can do in this first month. And then in this month of July, we started to have we call socialization, and also start to think about the logistic, think about the technical way how to conduct the election in the day where we will have. If we would like to more detail about the update, what we are going to do, what we have been doing, in the first 2 months, we created or we formed the special committee for updating data. In Indonesian, we call Pantarlih, Committee of Updating Data, we formed 62 people, and then they went to going around to meet many Indonesians who are in Hong Kong and Macau to check the data. And then after that, we try to form the list of the temporary voters, and then after that we continue to announce to the people so that people will see, will check also. They can also give report if there is something wrong, something need to be corrected. After that, we try to continue our updating data. Finally, on June 21st, we announced the permanent list of voters. And then later on, I can mention about the number. So this is what we have been doing in these 6 months. Yeah.
As known, Panwaslu for Hong Kong and Macau was inaugurated on May 18. So it has been more than 2 months that we are working in Hong Kong and Macau. We are Panwaslu have vision for safe, peaceful, and orderly elections. Our mission is always to work with integrity to make the election has best quality, and we will make sure that the election process are honest, fair, transparent, and from Panwaslu we provide equal opportunities and freedom for everyone that they can make and they can report to Panwaslu, and also we ensure that all people can participate to become a participatory supervisor tool, same as us. So in Bahasa, they can become pengawas partisipatif. For work programs, while we always active in obtaining technical guidance from Bawaslu in Jakarta, we also actively overseeing the electoral process in Hong Kong and Macau, always keeping an eye all events in Hong Kong and Macau, always pursuing people to report when they found any issues. And also we created several and various social media platforms to make reporting very easy to them. We are promoting how to report to us in 3 words. Take a note, photo, and submit. That's so easy. So in Bahasa, catat, foto, kirim. While we ask photo, we are also trying to educate our community to give true reports and not spreading any hoax. So that's how we try to educate people. Every month we have several schedules that currently still online. As last month we have interviews with radio and YouTube. Last week with Ngopi Instant with Indonesian Consulate in Hong Kong. And a few days ago we have offline socialization in Macau. And also we have events together with PPLN in Hong Kong. So yeah, just don't forget to keep an eye on our activities in our social media.
The KPU has targeted overseas voters' participation in the 2024 general elections to reach more than 50%. To achieve this target, the KPU has set 3 methods to collect the voters of Indonesian citizens abroad. They are direct balloting at Indonesian representative offices abroad, such as embassies and consulate general, mobile ballot box system, and postal ballot system. Head of Hong Kong PPLN Agustinus Guntoro and Head of Hong Kong Panwaslu Andri Ratman both agree that the biggest challenge in the 2024 elections is in the process of collecting voters' data. Different from Indonesia, where the process of collecting voters' data can be done manually door to door, in Hong Kong, PPLN does not have the authority to visit Indonesian citizens in Hong Kong to conduct data collections. Therefore, data collections can only be carried out if the citizens is on a visit. or participating in activities organized by the Indonesian Consulate General.
Yeah, first, the obstacle is this. In the first step, when we started to work, to go around for updating data was not easy. Because as I told you before, in Indonesia, we can visit from house to house and it's clear the address RT berapa, RW berapa. But in Hong Kong, we cannot do that because we don't have right to go to visit more and more for Indonesian domestic worker. You know, the majority of Indonesians in Hong Kong and Macau is domestic workers. So we cannot easily meet them in their address. So only in the time when they are in vacation, in weekend or in holiday, that's the time to meet them. And then when we meet them, it's also, there is a kind of what we call not willing for them to be registered because afraid that their data will be misused. So there is another problem in Hong Kong that many times we heard issue about someone borrow money with identity of other people and so on. So many organizations, so many NGOs, even Indonesian consulate, they remind all the Indonesian domestic worker, don't give any data to other people. Then the problem is when we have people, when we have volunteer to come to them and asking their data, and they're actually not asking the data just to fix the data, but they don't want it. So this is another problem. And then another obstacle is, I think it's because we are living in other country, you know, other country where and more Hong Kong related with politics things is also becoming very sensitive. So we cannot move easily to talk about this with many people. And then now the obstacle is to get permission to book the place. We already planned to have 5 places, but until today we don't have fixed agreement from the government because we need letter from China government, and the letter from China government to Hong Kong government is not yet reaching. That's why until now we are a little bit worried, because to book the place is not easy because this is politic things. It's not the job of PPLN. But this is Indonesian and the higher level.
The previous election obstacles was more about data accuracy, even today. That's why we keep reminding PPLN at every meetings for the accuracy of data such as addresses, ID numbers, because this is the most important because this is the most important in this beginning process. And the next obstacles, also logistics. When it's from sending ballots from Indonesia to Hong Kong or local invitations. For logistics, we have discussed with PPLN to find the best solution to minimize obstacles such as ballots or invitation that don't arrive, or the flowing of queues at the polling stations, that election process will run smoothly. Yeah, in Hong Kong there are so many people in different backgrounds and education, so yeah, it's not an easy task actually.
Elections organizers in Hong Kong stated that Indonesian citizens in Hong Kong are in the top 10 of Indonesians residing overseas after Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, Taiwan, and Singapore. Such a great number of Indonesians is a challenge for the organizers to disseminate information on the general elections and validate the voters' data for the PPLN. PPLN provides ease for Indonesians who are not yet included in the final voters list but have registered themselves, allowing them to come to the polling stations and present their IDs before they can cast their votes at the determined location. The 2024 simultaneous general elections will be an important part of Indonesian history in the elections of the president and vice president of the country for the 2024 to 2029 period. It is expected that the new president and vice president will be able to bring Indonesia to a better conditions and make Indonesia a great and strong nation in facing various challenges ahead. Election organizers have been established since February 2023. Since then, the PPLN and the Panwaslu have carried out their duties, executing every stage of the elections. In the first 5 months, PPLN has verified data of voters who have been included in the KPU database. Those data was then verified with data collected from the field. After data verification, PPLN then disseminated information on the general elections to Indonesian citizens and took inventory on logistics required for the general elections. Head of the Overseas Elections Committee, PPLN Hongkong, Agustinus Guntoro said there was a change in the mechanism set by the KPU by continuing the automatic systems of Voters Data Information System, or SIDALI, a digital application for compiling the final overseas voters list. The Overseas Election Commission in Hong Kong has classified Indonesian voters into the final voters list and the provisional voters list. There are 164,991 Indonesian citizens listed in the final voters list and another 13,360 in the provisional voters list. Like in previous elections, the upcoming election will be held in 2 ways, namely, first, voters cast their votes at polling stations established at the Indonesian Consulate General in Hong Kong. Second, providing ballot paper via mailing system for Indonesian citizens who cannot come to the polling stations.
Well, first of all, we received the data from the Central Committee. But then from that Central Committee, we try to cross-check with the data that the Indonesian consulate they have, because they have different number. We got from the Central Committee is around 190,000 Indonesians in Hong Kong and Macau. But then we came to know from Indonesian consulate here that the data is not in that kind of number. So finally, through communication with the Central Committee and also with Indonesian consulate here, finally we agree to start the data from here 168,487 Indonesians in Hong Kong and Macau. So from this data, from this number, and then we try to check. And finally, in the first step, through the help of the Committee of Updating Data and our volunteers, we found 13,360, and then we announced this 60,000. We announced this as our temporary voters, the list of temporary voters. But then after we continue our work for updating data, we are going around to meet the people. Finally, we got the data as the fixed or we call permanent list of voters, we have 164,691. So this is the fixed number of voters in Hong Kong and Macau. And then, of course, something will change. For example, on July onwards, if there is some newcomers coming to Hong Kong, then they will put in the what we call list of permanent data edition. So that is the things that we would like to prepare.
Preparation for the 2024 simultaneous general elections by Hong Kong PPLN has remained in line with the election stages that have been set by the KPU. This is also in accordance with the enthusiasms of the Indonesian diaspora in exercising their voting rights for the sake of Indonesia's sustainability and progress in the next 5 years.
I don't have something to compare, because in 2019 I was not here. However, some of our friends, some related parties, they told me that in the first 2 months, they told me that, well, why you are not doing something massive socialization so that people can be enthusiastic to join and so on. And then, well, my answer, of course, this is not to defend or to justify myself, but actually the socialization program start on July until November. So when they ask me, actually we don't have what we call budget or we don't have a schedule for socialization. But also maybe there are some factors that the people of Indonesia in Hong Kong, they are not so enthusiastic, not only because maybe socialization is not yet, but it can be because, I'm sorry to say, maybe some of them, they were disappointed with what happened in 2019. For example, they were on the line for many hours and hours under the rain and so on and so on. So like this situation in the past discouraged them to be involved again. So the answer of them, I don't want to, because before it's like that. And so, well, also another problem is that they are not enthusiastic because many of them, though we are in the digital time, to get information in Indonesia is very easy, but maybe their focus is in their work, focus in their life, and in the, of course, the situation is different in Indonesia. So the aroma or the situation of pemilu election is not in their eyes. And then at the end, maybe because also maybe in the movement somehow, I can say like that, of golput, golput, someone who try to invite others not to join, maybe still alive in Hong Kong. Because in 2019, the percentage is only 34% from all Indonesians in Hong Kong to be active to use their vote. So it's very low. Though according to information, the whole overseas election below 50%, actually, yeah. So, yeah, well, this is the big homework for us. At least 50%, but oh no, I cannot promise like that because we found a lot of obstacle on the process. Yeah. First of all, our strategy is to invite all related parties to be aware that to motivate people to be active in the election is not only the job of the PPLN or the committee, but this is also a responsibility of many parties, more and more from those who are involved in the party, in the political party or in the, how to say that, the successful team of the candidate of president. They have this kind of way how to make people enthusiastic. But then our way to make enthusiastic is also try to learn from the experience. For example, how to arrange, hopefully we will be successful, the election process which is faster without any line. In this case, then we try to book more places, because in 2019 we have only 3 spots, but we will have 5 spots in Hong Kong, 6 with Macau. So this is our way so that people will enthusiastic, because the place will be some option there. And also, well, we would like to rent the building more, the bigger than before, so that people will be on the line, also in the building, not in outside, because in 2019 they were under rain and so on. And then of course another strategy, we would like to, what we call this, to promote, to socialization, not only through webinar or discussion, but also through many advertisements that we plan, so that people will easily catch the invitation from Indonesia for election.
For young voters, such as students, we are also in the stage of inviting them to use their educational skill to be able to help us with our works. So we also hope that this can make young voters become more enthusiastic in the election process.
Well, obviously, since I just turned 17, as people who just turned 17, I'm very excited to participate in my first ever election, especially that I'm in Hong Kong. I think it doesn't diminish my excitement at all.
In my personal opinion, I think this will be a very exciting moment, because this is actually also my first time doing it. So I really wish that this can be a very valuable lesson for all Indonesians, because they can actually use their vote to choose the next leader for the next 5 years of Indonesia.
The next election in 2024 is actually the first time I'm gonna do an election as in my legal age, so it's something that I look up to and look forward to. I feel like a lot of my friends are looking forward to this election too, and yeah, it's a place for us to actually give out our voice and be one Indonesian people in Hong Kong to actually use our voice and contribute to our country to choose a good leader for the future.
I think it's great because normally we did it beforehand, and I think it's add to the energy and add to the enthusiasm that we're going to have the first elections that actually same day and around the same time with Indonesia. I think that's great.
Yeah, even 1 year before the election, I think that the preparation is already going on. It's actively going on. Obviously, the committee itself is already getting ready. We have seen some people who will lead the committee for next year, and we have also seen some socialization from the Indonesian Student Association in Hong Kong. And they will start recruiting volunteers probably the end of this year or the beginning of next year.
Based on my experience, being the president of Indonesian Student Association in Hong Kong, I experienced several invitations to join their discussions and also sharing about their opinion about how this PPLN should go, about how elections should go.
I think they already did a really well preparation. First of all, they have give out a lot of information throughout the social media like Instagram, and I think most of my friends also have known important information of the Pemilu, and they have also go directly to the field and try to collect data and information from the migrant workers and also students. So I think they have a pretty good job, and they also do quite a lot of meetings and also events. So I think it's good, yeah, so far.
I'm not sure about that, but I think hearing Romo Gun publicize the elections, I think they are very enthusiastic, and I think they're ready.
Well, ideally, since I'm a student in Hong Kong, well, we hope that the governor or whoever will be the candidate of this election can accommodate our hopes and dreams in Hong Kong for the people in Hong Kong, not just for the students here, but also for the people generally living here, including the domestic workers and other professionals working here.
I really hope that every Indonesian individuals can have their sense of belongings in choosing the next leader of Indonesia. Therefore, I hope that everything went well and everyone really used their voice to choose a leader.
I hope that everything will went well. There's everyone is free to give out their opinions, and I hope that every candidate also can just give their all out, be all out with their campaigns and stuff. And I just hope that everyone will also want to be curious enough to find informations and choose their thoughts. Yeah.
As Indonesians, I hope we can get a better leader, a leader that can sustain all the effort and development and progress that we have attained up to this moment. And I hope, of course, I hope that we will be even greater with the next president.
The 2024 simultaneous general elections in Hong Kong is expected to not only secure the support from the Indonesian government but also the government of the People's Republic of China, or PRC. Based on the experience of the 2019 general elections, the PRC government's support was in the forms of providing venues and security officers on the elections day.
The support is very positive. If we look back to our experience and our previous Indonesian elections ever held in Hong Kong and Macau, the support given by the People's Republic of China government and also the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region government is very strong, also contributive to the success of that elections. For example, the availability of venues for polling stations, deployment of security officers, protocol and administrative assistance. Taking to the consideration that every foreign general elections held in Hong Kong must be done according to the prevailing laws and regulation of the People's Republic of China. That is why in this regard, we attach great importance, the support, also the assistance from the government of the People's Republic of China and the government of Special Administrative Region of Hong Kong to the success of the upcoming Indonesian election, February 2024 in Hong Kong and Macau. We are looking forward to that contribution and also support.
General elections is domestic affairs of every country that adopts democracy as a political system. Results of the general elections will determine every step and policy of Indonesia in the next 5 years. Despite some obstacles, in general, the 2019 elections ran safely and smoothly. The experience in organizing direct elections can be a reference and learning material for the 2024 elections. The organizations of the elections is expected to show that Indonesian people are more mature in democracy. It is also expected that the quality of election organization can continuously be improved. At the end of the day, election results can be accepted by all parties. All elections organizers at the national level, in the regions and abroad, are expected to hold elections that are secure, peaceful, systematic, and democratic, and will proceed in accordance with the agreed principles of direct, public, free, confidential, honest, and fair. Successful organizations of the previous general elections is expected to recur in the 2024 elections. And that wraps up our program about the preparations of the general elections 2024 here in Hong Kong. We hope we give you valuable information. Thank you for watching and goodbye.